Do you know where the clothes you wear come from? This video explores the issues that lie behind the fashions we wear, their causes, and what we can do about them.
Hi, I'm Cotton Ton. Come with me and let's take a look.
Many people around the world are involved in the production of clothing. About 40% of the textile products consumed in Japan are made of cotton. Cotton is cultivated in many countries. About 80% of this crop is grown in developing countries in Asia, Africa, and elsewhere. The world's #1 producer of cotton both by volume and by area under cultivation is India. In India, the cultivation of cotton involves a large number of people. But behind the production figures lurk numerous issues. One problem faced in common worldwide is pesticides. Cotton is easily infested by pests, so growers make heavy use of pesticides. In India, cotton cultivation accounts for only 5% of cultivated land, but 54% of pesticide use. Cotton farmers breathe in pesticides and get them on their hands, causing health problems. Pesticides also pollute groundwater and kill microbes and insects in the soil, damaging the environment. Continued use of pesticides makes the soil infertile, so farmers must continuously use large amounts of fertilizer. These inputs pose an enormous financial burden that drives farm families into debt. Unable to repay their debts, some farmers commit suicide. In India, artificially modified cotton, called hybrid cotton, is widely used for cotton and cotton seed production. Cultivating these seeds requires cheap labor, so large numbers of children are forced to work in the cotton fields. Tasks such as pollination and harvesting require intensive work over a short period of time, so large numbers of children are hired during these seasons. Let's see how this pollination work is done. Before the bulbs can bloom, the flowers are plucked from them one by hand, leaving only the female reproductive part, called the pistil. This pistil is fertilized by the male reproductive part, called the stamen, of a plant raised in a different field. This work must be done in a hurry, before the flowers self-pollinate, so the field hands work from dawn to dusk every day for 2 or 3 months without a single day off. Despite the grueling nature of this work, the wages come to less than 300 yen a day. Children are employed to pick the cotton and for after-harvest tasks. They are also used for planting. Over 480,000 children are employed planting cotton in India.
చేతులు కడుక్కోకూడదండి చెప్పండి.
ఎప్పుడు పని చేస్తూనే ఉండాలి. కలుపు తీసేది, పట్టి తీసేది.
Forcing children to do dangerous work instead of going to school is called child labor. Child labor is prohibited by law and under international conventions. Specifically, labor that prevents children less than 15 years of age from attending compulsory education is prohibited, as is especially dangerous or harmful work by children less than 18 years of age. Labor that does not interfere with education, helping out in the home, and lawful part-time work are not child labor. The factors that cause child labor fall into 2 categories: supply-side factors, which send children out to work, and demand-side factors, which require children's labor. A major factor in the supply of child labor is family or regional poverty. If a parent is unable to work due to injury or illness, a child might work as a wage earner to support the family finances. Another factor is an inadequate educational environment. If a school lacks sufficient classrooms or washrooms or doesn't have enough teachers, children cannot study properly. Many parents who have never received an education themselves feel that there is no point in their children doing so. Girls in particular are sometimes unable to receive an education. In rural areas of India, child marriage is a common practice, with girls being married off in their early teens. When a girl is married, she moves to her husband's village, and her family must pay the husband's family a large sum of money as a dowry. Because the birth of a daughter is regarded as an economic burden, it is thought better to make her work than to give her an education. On the demand side, the factor that drives demand for child labor is the need to employ large numbers of workers at low wages. In recent years, large numbers of children have been used in cottonseed production. Hybrid cottonseed production requires hand cross-pollination. The work is painstaking and intensive, done within a few months with many hands. Children are hired because their labor is cheaper than adults, and they work hard without complaining. Employers take advantage of these vulnerable children. So what can be done to eliminate child labor from India's cotton-growing regions? Action Against Child Exploitation, or ACE, is a non-governmental international cooperative organization. In 2010, ACE launched the Peace India project in India's Telangana state. Working with local NGOs, ACE initiated efforts in 3 fields to eliminate child labor from the state's cotton-producing regions. One course of action consists of activities to protect children from danger and support education for all children in a village. For example, ACE provides educational activities to raise villagers' awareness of child labor and education, and runs a supplementary school for children who have been working. Coordinating with government, ACE works to improve environments in public schools. The second initiative involves activities to help girls stand on their own feet. For girls who have missed the opportunity to attend school because they are too old for compulsory education, ACE runs an occupational training center. Here, girls gain a basic education and occupational skills so they can earn their own income in the future. ACE's third effort is support to increase the income of the parents of poor families. We introduce an animal husbandry business in which the families can raise cattle or sheep and sell them at a profit. ACE also offers guidance on saving money and putting it to good use. In Nagar Dodi, a village where ACE provided support for several years, more than 200 children have stopped working and started attending school. Now all of the village's children are in school.
ఏమి స్కూల్లో నీకు ఏమి ఇష్టం చెప్పు చదవడం థ్యాంక్ యూ
Awareness of the importance of educating children has risen throughout the region. Even after the support has ended, villagers are continuing to send children to school and improve their living environment. Through these activities, ACE is helping to create villages where child labor is eliminated. spreading the movement to nearby areas where many children are still working. What can we do to eliminate child labor from the cotton industry? Have you heard the term ethical fashion? Ethical fashion is fashion produced with care for the work environment of the people who make the products as well as for the natural environment. The ethical fashion movement is beginning to attract attention in Japan and the world. Examples include fair trade, which supports producers with fair prices for their products, and organic cotton, which is cotton grown without the use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. There are things that businesses and consumers can do to spread ethical fashion and solve the problem of child labor. Businesses can set the rule that child labor is not to be used and create procedures for checking that this rule is complied with and all processes involved in making their products are free of child labor. Informing consumers about these activities at their sales outlets is another important role for businesses. By choosing and purchasing ethical clothing, consumers can support the producers and sellers of ethical products. If you're interested in purchasing ethical apparel, look for indications and certification labels that say fair trade, organic cotton, and so on. If you don't see them, ask a shop attendant. Examine products and look for indications of ethical fashion. There are lots of other things you can do. You can tell people around you about the problems behind fashions and some of the solutions, and take the time to examine these issues. The use of child labor to supply the raw materials for products essential to our daily lives are not somebody else's problem. This issue involves all of us who live in Japan and the world. Let's think together about what we can do to solve it.
Children are meant to play, learn, and smile. Let's work together to ensure those rights for children around the world.